why most people never do this. And I was learning, this is what I learned from the latest step on Tai Lopez 67-step program about the one sentence destiny plan, right? And it's simple but pretty powerful. And I mean, let me ask you this, right? If someone handed you $10 million today, would you know exactly what to do with your life? Most people, even successful adults, can't answer that, right? But after this video, I'm hoping you can walk away learning how to create a one sentence purpose plan that makes your path feel like it was meant for you, right? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the different topics that we covered. The first one was the crisis of choice. In the past, right, your job was chosen for you, right? If your last name was XYZ, if your last name was Smith, you worked in as a smith or a in metal, right? If it was baker, maybe you baked bread. Now you've got 1,000 choices, right? You got 1,000 careers, 1,000 majors, endless paths. But guess what, right? More options actually lead to more anxiety, right? So Barry Schwartz calls it the paradox of choice. Sometimes when there are too many doors, right? There's too much fear of picking the wrong one. But there's good news. You only need to pick one that fits you, right? And your strengths, your experience, and your unique story. So here's where the one sentence destiny plan kind of topic came up, right? So there was this billionaire and he was talking to Tai Lopez, and Tai was asking him, like, hey, you got pitched by 27 people that day, and you and everyone's asking for like $2 million on average. I mean, you can't possibly invest with everybody. So how do you pick? And that billionaire said, if someone can't tell me their life mission in one sentence, I don't invest. Let that sink in. If you can't say what your mission is in 12 to 20 words, then you don't own your future, right? Ty said his sentence was, I spread good ideas using mass media. It's simple, it's clear, it's actionable, right? Obviously, you're tempted to add more details, add more words to clarify, but what if this, but what if that? I didn't really explain that. So today, hopefully you learn how to write yours, right? And Ty calls it or he kind of talked about the Eulerian Destiny Framework, right? It's a four-circle Venn diagram that helps you find your sweet spot. So let's break it down so that even a fifth grader can understand, right? Imagine your purpose is buried under four big X marks the spot clues, right? The first question you want to ask is, what did you grow up around, right? Think of this as your early superpower exposure. If you grew up around coaches, teachers, entrepreneurs, that might be your DNA whispering, right? And then think about what the second question you want to ask is, what do strangers compliment you on? Not your mom, not your best friend. Strangers don't lie. If you've been told that your smile lights up the room and your ideas are inspiring, that's a clue. That is a clue. Listen to how you speak about what you're passionate about. Third question, what have you spent the last 10 years doing, right? Don't waste that 10,000 hour thing, right? Even if you hate it, there's gold in that experience. You learn something from that. And number four, what could you talk about on a Saturday night for free? You know that thing that energizes you when no one's paying you? That's your fuel source. And when all four overlap, that's your Eulerian destiny. It's almost like your custom made Iron Man suit, right? No one else can wear it but you. So let's talk about real life examples that prove the rule. Let's bring it to life, right? Michael Jordan thought he could play baseball at one point. He couldn't. He was a 100 out of 100 in basketball, right? The best. Maybe 99 if you want to call it, whatever. But he was probably only like a 60 out of 100 in baseball. You got to think about it. He wasn't leaning into what he was the best. And then one of Tai Lopez's mentor was Joe Salatin. And he said his one sentence was, I give the world the gift of good food. Simple, beautiful. He wasn't trying to be a rapper or a startup founder. He just leaned into and stuck with his lane. You see, the problem is most people have this thing called the American Idol syndrome, right? They think they're a 95 out of 100 at something, but they're actually a 65. And the thing is, if you're not in top 5% at it, don't build your life around it. Build your life around what you are elite at. So he kind of shared some ways to build your one sentence, right? When you write your one sentence, keep it under 12 to 20 words. It should pass the grammar test, right? If your 96-year-old grandma doesn't understand it, chances are it's too complicated. And you might use in like fill in a blank, right? I help who do what so they can quote unquote result through whatever method. Here are some few examples, right? I teach busy parents how to build wealth with real estate using simple investing strategies. Cool, right? I help I help kids become confident leaders by teaching them how to speak up and be heard. Great. I inspire creators to turn their story into a movement using short form video. Cool. Try yours, right? Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just write something and just refine it over time. That's the problem. Sometimes people think, oh, I got to get this right the first time. No, you can change it. Calm down. It's your life, it's supposed to evolve. So let's talk about that four-pillar destiny map, right? Health, wealth, love, and I like to call it fulfillment. And I don't want to call it just your business destiny, right? It's really four areas, like the four legs of a table, right? You think about your health, right? What's your best path to staying energized? Gym, long walks, yoga, pick your thing. When we think about wealth, right? Think about what value can you create that you care about those folks that you're creating for. So keep caring. And how do you deliver that to the world? Ask yourself. For love, think about what kind of relationships make you feel most alive. That makes you feel reinvigorated every single day. Makes you feel challenged and fulfillment. What mission makes you feel part of something bigger than yourself? Write one sentence for each, and that could probably become your four-sentence life operating system by itself. And it's kind of like when you think about it, all bring it all together, right? Think of your life like a GPS. Your Eulerian destiny is the destination, right? Your habits, those are your steering wheel. But if you don't have that destination, right? You don't have the clear address, you're gonna end up lost in traffic, or worse, following someone else's directions. So I challenge you today. I mean, try working on your one sentence destiny plan. Just in case someone with $10 million ever offers it to you, if you have it. Just have it, just in case. Because this isn't just about you, it's about the people counting on you to rise. It's the families that are counting on you to create the housing, not for them, but for their kids, for their family, for their loved ones, so that they can have a chance to thrive. And that begins with a roof over their heads. This is your chance to lead, to define your path so that one day they can define theirs. Let's get to work. Hey, I can't thank you all for sticking with me. I appreciate you all for tuning into the lives and being so supportive. I appreciate you all so much. Have an amazing Thursday, everybody. I hope you spent some quality time with your family and friends today. And I'm so grateful that you all support the Affordable Housing Podcast. Without people like you, I would have never had the home I grew up in. I appreciate you all so much. I've had some great podcast guests come on, some very fun topics that's going to be being released. But don't forget to check the podcast I just released this week with Matthew Haas. Great banker. He really knows his stuff. And that was such a great story that he shared, going from an architect to nonprofits to raising money as a syndicator. It just shows you don't need to have it all figured out. But guess what? If you have the intention to help people and you have the heart and you have the energy, I know for sure you have a set of skills. This is why on the Affordable Housing Podcast, we brought on folks from all walks of life in affordable housing. We brought on the capital raiser, we brought on the lenders, we brought on the architects, the engineers, we brought on developers, we brought on single family Section 8 investors if you're a solopreneur. There's so many different areas for you to learn, for you to figure out what you're interested in. It's all there on the Affordable Housing Podcast. And if you don't know what your question is, please DM me. Please message me. I want to know what your questions are. I really, really do. Because the more people we can get involved, the more housing we can create together. And I know that if you're listening to this because you care. You care about the families you can help. You care about the legacy you want to leave for your kids. And more importantly, you care about the example that you're setting for your kids when they can focus on serving others and not worry about themselves. I truly was so worried about, and am still worried about, the mental health of our kids. Right? You hear about this a lot, right? The comparison is a thief of joy, and you see this happening in social media all the time. And I thought about the best way I can prevent that from happening to my kids is to show them the fulfillment you get from concentrating on serving others. And that's how we can help them focus on a positive, focus on their value, focus on their self worth so that they can help other people. You got this. I want to know what your questions are. Please, please reach out. And again, thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Without people like all of you, I would have never had the home I grew up in. So I appreciate it so much. All right. Have an amazing Thursday. Spend some quality time with your family and friends today because that's what life is all about. I'll see y'all tomorrow for day 590.